afternoon and welcome back to the Kooky Kitchen. Today we're having another pantry party because I cleaned out the freezer and I have some meatballs that need to be used. And I have some things that I made that I need to use. So the meatballs are still in the fridge defrosting. I took them out yesterday. They should be ready. But this is my seasoned rice, and this is herb butter seasoned rice. And I'm going to make a couple of changes when I go to fix this, because I believe when I did the Mexican rice mix, it needed a little bit more butter to be toasted in, and it needed a little bit more liquid at the end. My meatballs, I'm actually going to, they're meatballs I made. They're fully cooked. They're frozen, or were frozen. I'm going to roll them in shake and bake barbecue and see if that works. And I think for our vegetable, we're going to have fried zucchini slices, because I have a zucchini I need to get used up. So anyway, I'm going to start with taking 3 tablespoons of butter, melting it in a pan, and start toasting up my herbed butter seasoned rice. And yes, the seasonings are in here. That was something. Afterwards, I was like, well, wait a minute. When you get the box, the seasonings are separate. But in the Mexican rice mix, it worked out. So I'm hoping it works out here. But I need to try it and see what we think of it, so we can play with it and get it where we want it. I actually have not used a whole lot of the stuff that I made from dry mixes, or made into dry mixes, because we're trying to use up the box stuff first because it's the oldest. So anyway, let me get the butter melting and get our rice and pasta sauteing in that butter. We have 3 tablespoons of butter melted. I think the 2 tablespoons I did last time, I think part of the reason it wasn't quite enough is because I have those seasonings mixed right in with everything else. Let's see how this turns out. All right, as you can see, that the seasoning really just soaks up the butter right away. So let's see how this toasts up. I wonder if the seasonings get a little bit toasted and maybe it brings out a little bit more flavor. I don't know. All right, well, we'll watch it while it toasts. It smells delicious. But anyway, I have added 3.5 cups of liquid. I used water. I was going to use chicken broth, but I didn't have any. I think last time I only used 2 cups of water, and I kept having to add to it. So I just figured out I'm going to start with 3.5 to start with, and we're going to bring this back to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down to simmer, cover for 15 to 20 minutes. So let's talk about the rice. First of all, you can clearly see there's way more than what you would get in one box. I did end up adding 2 more cups of water, so that's 6 cups of water. Hold on, I think my timer's on. All right, so let's just make sure it's done. And that's my biggest part, is knowing this is done. So I kind of know how to cut it back. This is way more rice than we need for a meal, or even probably more than we need for 3 days. Actually, that is done. It's herbed butter, and there is some butter flavor. I think I might want stronger herbs. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to be dinner tonight. So we're going to have some rice, and we'll have Kyle come in and taste test in a little while. Let's move on to our meatballs. Here's our meatballs. I don't really want to put a little bit of oil on them to get the shake and bake to stick, because I don't want it to dilute the flavor of the barbecue. So I'm actually going to take a little bit of barbecue sauce, dilute it with a little bit of water, pour this in, and then add shake and bake. That's where we're going to start. And this is what they look like after being coated. So Literally, I probably took maybe a tablespoon of barbecue sauce, if that much. Couple tablespoons of water, mixed it together, threw it in here, zipped it up, shook it all around so all the meatballs got a little bit damp, and then I used 6 tablespoons of my barbecue shake and bake. Now we're going to put them in the oven. I only preheated to 350. I think it needs to be on 400, but I'll double check that. And we're going to just put them on a pan and get them cooking. All right, so here's our covered meatballs out on the pan. And actually, we're going to raise the heat of the oven to 375. And we are going to bake these about 15 to 20 minutes. They are thawed. Remember, they're homemade meatballs. That's why they're all different shapes and sizes. And the oven's ready. We want it to kind of get crispy on the outside, like shake and bake does. And we also need it warm all the way through. They just came out of the fridge, so let's hope this works. I might have should have taken them out earlier. We'll see. All right, like I promised, I brought Kyle in the house, and he's going to taste test our rice. Don't burn your mouth. That looks really hot still.
I like that one.
I thought I might want it to be a little bit more herbish. I could taste the butter, but not a lot of herb. Or maybe that's just what herb to butter is. I don't know. But don't you think that is at least 2 boxes?
That's like 3 boxes.
Yeah. So I did say we were going to fry zucchini, and we've decided not to do that because we have plenty to do with eating rice over the next 3 days and what to pair it with so it's not the same every day. So anyway, our meatballs are almost done, and we'll be back for that. Our meatballs are done, and we're going to taste test. Kyle's going to taste test the whole one. I'm going to cut me a piece off. Is it hot all the way through?
Uh-huh. That was pretty good. Oh, these are your homemade ones too, huh?
Mm-hmm. Are there onions and bell peppers in them? That is hot.
I think so. It's really hot. I like the flavoring.
So, I'm sorry, you're just looking at meatballs and you can't hear much. Ooh, that was hot. I would say using that shake and bake just gave it a slight flavor, which I'm okay with. I like barbecue on everything. Kyle sometimes says, can we not do barbecue? But that's my flavor. I love it. Other than that, we do spicy, and then we do a lot of pasta, right? Mm-hmm. So would you want me to do meatballs like this again?
Yeah. I want a bigger flavor, but there's enough there that's still good.
So, like, if we did different homemade meatballs and we put different seasonings in the meatball for flavoring, like the barbecue rub that we have, mix it within it.
Little, like some cayenne pepper, a pinch of cayenne pepper or something.
Oh, I think that's in our DIY mix that we made.
Oh.
So, anyway, folks, so that's what we're having for dinner. We have cleaned out our freezer, so you might get a whole lot of Pantry Party stuff on my videos for over the next couple of weeks. We will certainly try to get some cookbook curiosities out there and some back then bites. And we started a new series called Garden to Glass, trying to use our herbs to make different iced teas. So we have some refreshing drinks. Now that in our area it's starting to get heated up and we're going to be over 100 degrees. Anyway, I hope, and the rice, I'm going to work on it. I don't need that much rice. I don't know anybody who does. Or you could do a double batch, but I need to cut it back. I think the flavor is there. I think if I cut it back, the water ratio that I originally thought will be more spot on. And that's it. I will try to find where I made all the different mixes so you can see the recipe. I will not be putting it on my website, thekookiekitchen.com, until I get the recipe where I want it, where me and Kyle like it. And then from there, You can try it, and then you can play with it until you get it where you and your family likes it. All right? Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe so you can see more Kooky Kitchen. And as always, stay kooky, my kitchen friends. Bye.